Well, hello, good morning. This is Nicole Reloaded, and the Democrats win the House. I'm checking out this Do You Recorder live stream.
No one can control what happens on Mars.
I hope that you guys like it. I don't know how it works. I don't know where our comments and stuff is going to pop up for our live, but we'll see what's going on.
Space exploration. It's where we solve problems that have never...
So let's see, Shasha. I can see.
Last January, he was willing to make a deal on that. The Democrats walked away from the table.
Well, hold on a second, because you know differently. I mean, they say that they had this bipartisan bill. We've interviewed Senator Chris Coons, that they were even willing to give money for the wall, and the president reneged at the last moment.
That isn't exactly what happened, but immigration is also a very complicated, complex issue. It's not just the wall, and it's not just DACA. It also is the president's call to end chain migration, the visa lottery system, for example. But more to the point, this president is the consummate deal maker. He's a negotiator. He's willing to work with Democrats. He just passed historic opioid legislation with every single Democrat voting for it in the House and the Senate. So he led on that issue. They joined him. He's shown his willingness to work on infrastructure, spending bills, certainly. And really, I think the question is for the Democrats. You know, a number of Democrats won House seats last night in swing districts. Are they going to go home and say to their voters that, hey, there's a big appetite now for endless investigations and subpoenas? People like when you focus on the issues and not just investigations. So that's a question for them as well. I note last night that Nancy Pelosi did not mention investigations and subpoenas in her statements and in her phone call with the president.
Let's talk about that. What did he say to Nancy Pelosi, and what did she say to him in that phone call?
He's always willing to work with people across the aisle. I think that the big story from last night, though, is how his engagement made history yet again. Only 8 times in the last 80 years has the president's party in power picked up Senate seats at all. He picked up at least 3, possibly 5, as the counting goes on.
But what did he say to her in that phone call?
I won't say what he's going to tell you at his press conference today, how he feels about all that. But as you can imagine, I mean, we've had Minority Leader Pelosi to the White House many times in the past, and Mr. Schumer as well. You have to do what's good for the country, and he's willing to do that. But again, if we're going to call for unity on the one hand, and the other hand, talk about incessant...
One thing I definitely can say about Kelly Conway, this woman has an answer for everything. This woman got game like a mother sucker. Anything you throw at her, she got a comeback. That is definitely for sure. Let me know down in the comments how y'all feel about the Democrats winning the House. Are you happy? Are you sad? How do you feel about Stacey Abrams not being able to will it in, them still counting the vote, as well as Gulliman, him losing out in Florida? What do you think? Can you stop doing that? What do you think that you can do a part of your community to make a difference? Let's finish listening to what Kelly is saying here.
Investigations that I don't see where the appetite is there.
Well, let's talk about that, because there does seem to be an appetite for instance, the president's tax releases tax returns to be released.
You know, respectfully, is this really what we're talking about today after we had historic gains in the Senate and some of the governorships?
Yes, because there will now be oversight that hasn't existed for the past 2 years.
Right, but
so there will be more oversight. And as you know, Democrats have long wanted there to be more oversight of this White House.
Well, I'm sure. Some of them, it seems to be all they talk about. But what do their voters think? What do their constituents think?
Well,
let me just say, the last time the Democrats did, let's just say, an extra investigation, it was during the Kavanaugh hearings. And the 4 Democratic senators who voted against Brett Kavanaugh all lost last night.
Kavanaugh does seem to have certainly
Manchin won. He was the only Democrat. It showed how ham-handed they were about an investigation.
Overreach is always
for sure. Star power didn't matter last night. The places where President Obama went, the people he campaigned for, lost.
I hear you. Overreach certainly is a problem for various parties. But how does the president feel? I mean, that was where Jeff Zeleny ended in terms of, is there any anxiety in the White House about this new oversight task that Democrats will take up?
The president addressed this on Monday when he was on his 3-stop tour. All the 3 of them won, by the way, last night. The people he was out for on Monday. He said the Democrats will do what they are going to do, and I'm going to do what I've always done, which is find a way to deal with it. And he'll do that. But that's not going to, if they want to bring Washington to a grinding halt, then they don't understand
Well,
President
I mean,
Trump,
not
because
that.
he's going to continue to want to do.
Let's just focus on the tax returns. They just want to see the tax returns.
You know what, Allison, respectfully, I'm not going to only focus on tax returns,
I'm saying
because
that,
according to CNN's own polling, that's not what animated voters last night. I know
Well,
you had a poll on October 22nd showing Gillum ahead by 12 points. That poll is a form of voter suppression. He's way ahead.
Fair.
He lost last night.
Here's the poll. Here's the poll on the tax returns. 68% of Americans believe that the president should have released them. He promised to release them. He said absolutely. I'm just saying that seems.
So we're going back to 2016 now.
One of the first orders of business that I think that Democrats could easily do like that.
Well, they may try.
The tax returns. Is the president at all nervous about that?
They may try. The president is not nervous about anything.
Okay.
I was with him all night last night, and again this morning he's going to address the nation. What he's very excited about is that his political engagement in these key races made history again. He defied the trends again. I think it bordered on adulation for some of these candidates for governorships in Florida and Georgia, and certainly Beto in Texas. It bordered on adulation. All the positive coverage, the profiling. I think some people also, it's not their business, they're not supposed to be partisans, really being, I think, very unkind and patently unfair to some of the opponents in those races, and the voters look past all of that. So I think they're going to look past all these investigations in large part, too.
Let's talk about what you brought up with the unkindness and the tone, and if anything changes today as a result. The president, it was so interesting, he did this interview with Sinclair.
Yes.
And he was asked about if he has any regrets over the past 2 years, and he brought up maybe the tone, maybe my tone, maybe I could have
But play the whole clip. What did he say? He said, I like to soften the tone, but I can't because I get hit everywhere and not treated fairly.
Does the tone come from the top or not?
I think the president's a big counterpuncher, and he's always said that. He doesn't draw first blood, but he's going to defend himself and stand up for the candidates that he believes in, the principles and the policies he believes in.
So in other words, no.
If he has, no, that's not true. He just said he'd like to change the tone, but also, tell me this: is the coverage going to change? Is the constant racism, sexism, misogyny, is that going to change? I doubt it.
Do you put the president on the same par as a cable news anchor?
No, not at all. He's the president of the United States.
That's
and
right.
by the way,
why
he knows
he
it.
Set the tone?
And he knows it, by the way.
Why doesn't he
We
set the
look
tone?
right past people who have no business treating the president of the United States the way he is treated.
Do you look right past it? Because you said he's a counterpuncher. I mean, which one is it?
He has a right to defend himself and defend policies and principles. So have record unemployment numbers. I know you don't want me to say it, but I'm going to say it since we don't hear it much on CNN.
We cover it all the time.
African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans.
And they're going to fight against it. Yes. Girl, I am just trying out. First off, let me say good morning. God bless you. Love and hugs. I am just trying out this Do You Recorder and these bots on here because I'm having some technical difficulties over here at the house, so I can't set up on my laptop, unfortunately, right now, or whatever, and I have ran out of room, so I need to get storage and all kinds of stuff, and it starts to get a little expensive trying to become a big old fancy YouTuber and all. But I'm trying this out to see if this can save me so I don't, lose my supporters. I love you guys, y'all, my family. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying this out. And I don't know. Maybe we can do some different topics. Give me some suggestions and everything. And anybody that's on here, please check out Psychic Anonymous. Her channel is totally awesome. She provides awesome content, very unique content that makes you think spiritually, mentally, in every aspect of life. She's totally awesome. So you would definitely be getting some good content checking my girl Psychic Anonymous out. So let's finish listening to what Kelly Conway is saying.
65-year low among women that mattered to female voters.
Understood, but you still lost the House.
Right,
so the economy is fine, is going well, but you still lost the
House seats.
I understand.
Historical. They went and they voted, especially in states where he showed up and he endorsed the candidates.
Yes. From the president's rallies, talks about our policy.
Talks about the economy. Talks about the media polls, so is politically motivated.
And
I don't know what
just
he'll say, but Allison, respectfully, midterms for the president was negative. Why? Why not just focus
So, in other words, so it's still, so the president won't start changing the tone. He's waiting for somebody.
And a lot of those members who said, I don't want the president campaigning with me, they lost too. But
the president has the power
And
Don't you think it was curious? Don't you think it was curious, Allison, that don't you think it was curious that somebody like Claire McCaskill, senator of Missouri, said, "I'm not one of those quote crazy Democrats."
Let me try to close this out. So, can you hear me, Psychic Anonymous? Topics that I wanted to talk about, like especially about that young girl that was on Dr. Phil, believing that she's, a Caucasian girl, and that, it was a host and they played Dr. Phil. See, if it's spinning like that, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. A lot? Is it big or what? Okay, can you do me a favor and make sure the bathroom door is closed, and the doors, if they're not locked but closed, so they can't get in there. I'll go clean it up. Is it right by the door? Is my closet door closed? Make sure all the lights are turned off up there. Okay. Let me see. It's 1, 2, 3. Video. All my clothes?
Caesar, politician, ruler, man.
I'm going to be honest, I don't really even know what day it is right now. Welcome to the world of divided government. Election 2018 went largely according to expectations. Sorry, haters. Democrats took control of the House, netting the 23 seats they needed. Republicans kept the Senate, taking advantage of a map that was, from the start, heavily tilted in their direction. All right, let's start with what happened in the House. The path to the majority ran through the suburbs in places like Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Florida, Minnesota, and yes, even Kansas. While President Donald Trump did carry many of these districts in 2016, they turned against him over the last 2 years. That turn from Trump was especially strong among women in these districts. Democrats, to their credit, nominated and elected lots and lots of women in these seats. From Debbie Mucarsel-Powell in southern Florida, to Jennifer Wexton in northern Virginia, to Chrissy Houlihan in the Philly suburbs, and Sharice Davids in Kansas City, Kansas. Now, while the blue tsunami scenario, in which Democrats not only seized control of the House, but do so by netting upwards of 50 seats, didn't happen, let's be clear. This was a very good night for House Democrats. They retake control of a chamber they lost in the Tea Party wave of 2010, giving them at least a foothold in their attempts to push back on the Trump agenda. Now, to the Senate, where the news was far more favorable for Republicans. But from the start, Democratic chances required something close to a triple bank shot here. There were 26 Democratic seats up on Tuesday as compared to just 9 Republican seats. And of those 26 Democratic seats, 10 were in states that Trump won in 2016. And 5 of those 10, Trump won by double digits 2 years ago. So tough sledding. Well, over the summer, there was some speculation that a path was opening for Democrats. With the surprising competitiveness of Phil Bredesen in Tennessee and Beto O'Rourke in Texas, the harsh reality of the map started to assert itself as Election Day drew closer. And as the votes poured in on Tuesday night, it became readily apparent that any path for a Democratic Senate majority was, in truth, a bit of a pipe dream. While Joe Manchin, a Democrat, won re-election in West Virginia despite the fact that Trump carried the state by 42 points 2 years earlier, Indiana's Joe Donnelly couldn't overcome the Republican tilt of the Hoosier state. And neither could Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota. Bredesen, the former governor of Tennessee, watched as he fell short against Senator Blackburn in the volunteer state. And O'Rourke, despite staying much closer to Senator Ted Cruz than most people expected for most of the night, still lost in the end. Geography was, with very few exceptions like Manchin, destiny when it came to the Senate. The battleground was enlarged, is the point. We're taking over YouTube this week, people. New episodes every day through Friday.
All right, sorry YouTube, I stepped away. Now here it goes buffering. My daughter then used up a lot of my data, even though it says that it's unlimited. And then my bots are not working. So I wonder if I pause this, will it let me go into my tools? So let's